Hi, and thank you for tuning in to Lunch Talk with the Carters. I am your hostess, Starr Carter.
And I am your host, Michael Carter.
And we just come to tell you all that it is time to get the show started. Wait, what is it? Noon. Yeah. I told you guys, we don't pre-record these shows. We're going to get it together one of these days. So happy Monday, guys. Happy Monday. We are coming off the lovely weekend. So how you doing today, Mr. Carter?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
I got you tongue-tied already. So, guys, we are back with Lunch Talk with the Carters. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We did. So, today we're going to talk about lack of affection. We just came off of our 5-part in the beginning series. So, now we're going to get back to how the usual format of the show is. You know, we're going to start talking about some more relationship issues. You know, we went back in the beginning and told you when the stuff started. So now we're going to start back tackling those relationship issues. So today we're going to talk about lack of affection in your relationship. And maybe we can give y'all some tips on how you can, you know, get the affection back. What you think about that, babe?
Yeah, I think so. Because me personally, I feel that lack of affection is one of the top main dysfunction in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, it's up there with infidelity and stuff, because I'm not going to say that the lack of affection causes breakups, because it does, but I would just say it causes that dysfunction, that unease in your relationship. So, you know, like my wife said, we're going to try to give y'all guys a little hints, a little tips, you know, what works for us, you know, on how to, you know, get over those tough times, because guys, you know, over a period of time, it will come. It will happen.
Yeah. It will. So, let me ask you this, babe, you know, on a male's perspective, you know, because we are emotional creatures, you know, we tend to want more affection than men. So can you just give me the male perspective? Like how, a man, I don't even say how I want to word this. How important is it to a man as far as like the average man, as far as affection and their need for affection, like the average guy?
Well, I would say, just speaking, you know, primarily for myself, affection is a huge part for males as well. Okay. But for us, it's more physical. You understand? Mm-hmm. You know, just trying to, you know, be politically correct. Ours is more physical. Okay. And the females, you guys are like more emotional, you know, more touchy feely, more, you know, kissy poo or hugged up, or, you know, you love your date nights, and, you guys is more emotional. For us, you know, it's more, you know, physical. You know, if you give us that physical emotion, you know, we're good. You know, we don't need all the additives. But even though the additives are good, you know, not saying anything is wrong with it, because, you know, I'm an affectionate guy, you know, but
that's why I say average.
Yeah.
I think you're a little bit different from average.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I'm an affectionate guy. So I love the complete package. You know, I love the physical and emotional part. But most guys, you know, they just settle for, you know, the physical part. Mm-hmm. You know, and I guess it's just the male makeup, you know, that's the best way I can describe it. Yeah. It's just, you know, how we are bred. You know, we are men, and we are more, you know, manly, you know, when it comes to that type of thing. Not saying nothing bad about it, but, you know, we prefer, you know, the physical part.
Well, where do you see how that could be a problem with a female that does need that affection, if they get with a guy that is not affectionate? You know, all they need is the physical to be good. So how could that cause an issue? What do you think? How could that cause an issue with a female that needs that emotional connection past just the physical? So how do you think that would play out for a female with a guy that's all they can give?
Oh, dysfunction. That's what I said in the beginning of the show. That's the number one of the upper ranked dysfunctions in a relationship, because it will cause dysfunction, you know, because, you know, when you and your mate are not seeing eye to eye on the physical emotion parts of it, you know, it causes that dysfunction. It causes that, unease. But my suggestion is, guys, talk about it, of course, discuss. Communication is number one. Okay, talk about it and come to some kind of equal mutual understanding, Cause some guys, they're cool with it. So they may just be like, okay, my wife or my girl hasn't said anything. So maybe she's cool with it too. Just the physical part. They're not thinking from a female standpoint that females, need that emotion. They need that actual emotion, but they're not thinking it on that level. But talk about it, communicate, and, get your feelings out there. Let this guy know that, you love him to death. You think the world of him, but you need that. And, if he's an adult, if he's a mature guy, he's willing to compromise to make his mate happy. So I think the communication, let him know that you need that because, guys and females, they think differently on that level,
Yeah.
So I would think talk about it and then, come to some kind of compromise. And that way you both can, can be happy when it comes to that type of thing.
And I agree with what you said, but I just feel like, the part where you said about communication, I really do think that is the main key thing, like you said, because females, we are so good about holding in our emotions. And like my husband said, most men, y'all are, not to say y'all are just cold or whatever, but their emotional level is not where our emotional levels are. Mm-hmm, like it doesn't take them much to be satisfied and happy. Mm-hmm. They could be happy with the physical. They could be happy with a sandwich and they good.
There you go. Absolutely right. There you go.
So, and like us, we need cuddle time. Like you said, we need date nights. We need to feel like we are a woman. We need those extra additives. Mm-hmm. And whereas a man, as long as you just, giving him what he needs, pretty much physical, like my husband said, and cook him a good meal, and you're not nagging him. I mean, he's pretty much good.
He good right there.
Yeah, he's pretty much good. Yeah. But we need the cuddle time. We need to be held. We need all the extra additives. So I feel like, ladies, when you get with these guys, or if you already in a relationship and the relationship's kind of taking a dramatic turn, because when you first get together, it's all hot and heavy.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have the cuddle time.
Yeah, you gotta have
You're gonna have all that. But then once you get into a year, 2 years, a couple years down the road, you start to get, as I like to say, comfortable with each other. And so sometimes those things that you did at the beginning does not continue to go on. But that's a bad thing. Because as the old saying says, what you did to get them, you got to keep doing that to keep them. Because you can't sell yourself as being one way. And then once you get them, meaning married, some people are different once they get married. You might have been a 3 to 4 time a week woman. And then when you got married, it might have dwindled down to once a week, yeah. And, so things like that. So, and I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, just from a personal standpoint, that when me and my husband got back together, after us, not being in each other's lives for such a long time. And then when I went through my divorce in 2015 and I had my little time period where I wasn't dating anybody seriously, you tend to get used to being by yourself. So you wind up, what I like to call is self-soothing. You don't need the affection. You become more independent. But then when you get with somebody, you got to take into consideration that now you're in a relationship and that person will need that attention, because sometimes, especially guys, you get used to being by yourselves. If you get used to being by yourselves and you're not having a serious relationship, or you just having, just encounters, as I would like to say, one night stands or something like that, you're not in a committed relationship, but you are just having encounters with women. And then when you do get a serious girl, you can't treat them the same way you was treating other ones, because the serious girl's gonna really want that affection and that attention and that hand holding in public, and that, everything that comes with showing that love, exactly. Basically showing that you love them.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I agree with that 100%. That's great stuff, because I agree with you. But guys, we know, in a relationship, especially a committed relationship, we know life happens, especially if you guys live together, life happens. It's all hot and heavy in the beginning. You have all the emotions, you do all the fun stuff, you do all these things in the beginning. But, as time go on, as I said, if you live together, life happens. You know, we know bill time, you know, you work 12 hours, your wife works 12 hours, you know, taking us, for instance, you know, I work 12 hours, my wife, she works, we're trying to get our brand off, she's trying to go back to school for a ministry, she's getting a ministry, all her things together for that. And, you know, life happens, you know, she has her life, I have my life. So, you know, that's what I mean by communication. Because, see, we got us a special weekend planned. So, you know, because we know that we need this. You know, we both need it, you know, because we've been so busy and we know life happens. So, guys, that's what we're saying. Communicate, talk about it, plan things. You know, hey, set a date night. Nothing's, you know, you're not going to work on your ministry. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. You're leaving the computers at home.
Yeah.
Leave them at home. This whole weekend, you're mine, I'm yours. You know, that's the deal. You know, I mean, hey guys, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You both will talk about it. You both compromise. You both come up with this date. And guess what? That's your intimacy. That's your time for you guys. That's the time you planned. So, you know, we know life happens. But again, guys, it's about communication. It's about compromising, about being adults, you know, respecting each other's feelings and each other's needs.
Mm-hmm. I also think a lot of times that we overthink it when it comes to affection. And, you know, like me and you got a special weekend coming up because me and you hadn't had a weekend or a date night or anything since our anniversary. And that was back in April. So we like way overdue.
We way overdue.
But like I said, we've been busy. We've been doing a lot. My son went out to the government school. So we've been back and forth to Hartsville down that way. And so it's just been a lot. And then, you going back and forth with your job, not knowing what shift you're going to be on. So we can't really plan.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really plan. So we are really looking forward to having this weekend. But guys, I don't want you to think that if you can't have a weekend or if you can't do something that, you know, go out of town or something like that, that you can't do anything. You can't overthink it. You know, just having a lovely dinner together or a breakfast or a brunch, you know, where the kids is not there. It's just you two at the house. It may just be that couple of hours during the day that y'all have where you're both at home at the same time, you know, and then you can leverage on that time that you have together. Like if you know that Sunday is your only day off, and I mean, this is for the fellas, right? If you know that Sunday is your only day off, like the only day that you and your old lady have off, and you a football fan, like if you love to watch football and you want your football time, then that means that you need to work around that time to spend some time with your old lady so she don't feel like she's being neglected by football.
Exactly. That's a good point.
I mean, like in the mornings, set up a lovely breakfast for each other. You know, you can have a candlelight breakfast. You ain't got to wait till nighttime to have candlelight. You know, you can have candlelight lunch, breakfast.
I had one this morning.
Shut up. Nobody asked you. But anyway, I'm just saying, those are the times. Like my husband got out work this morning, just worked 12 hours, and I just felt like that was something he needed to relax and chill, you know. Made him a breakfast casserole, candlelight, had us a little bit of, you know, sparkly little drink, and that was it. I mean, he was so appreciative of that. So it's just the little things. You don't have to go all the way out, because I knew once he went to sleep, he probably wasn't going to wake up until, you know, 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, you know. So, and this is Sunday, guys. So, you know, we pre-record the show, even though y'all won't hear it till tomorrow. You know, well, y'all hear it Monday, but you know, we pre-record the show because I'll be at work when this show is released, you know, so we have to pre-record the show. But it's just a point that, like you said, life get in the way. And when life get in the way, you have to work around it. I mean, you can't be like, well, I ain't got time. I don't have time. You have to make time.
You gotta make time.
You have to make time to be affectionate with each other, to show each other how much you love, appreciate the other person. And you need it. It's good for you. It releases the positive endorphins into your body. It's like the happy pill without taking a happy pill.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes you feel great to spend that good time, that good quality time with your significant other. It really does. And I told you, I was so appreciative this morning for the candlelight breakfast. That was so awesome. That was beautiful. Man, I appreciate it, because you're right. I needed that coming off 12 hours work. I mean, it was great.
And it was a surprise. I didn't tell him, so
exactly.
He knew I was cooking breakfast, because I told him.
But it was good.
Because sometimes he'll stop by and get us breakfast from somewhere. And so I was like, don't stop and get breakfast. I'm cook breakfast this morning, you know. And so it's just a little gesture. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I mean, if budgeting and your money is a little tight, don't overthink it. it's just a little things. Like I said, I made a breakfast casserole out of grits and some eggs and some cheese and some sausages and some bacon. That's all, you know. So don't overthink it. When it's just, it's not the amount that you spend, it's the quality time that you spend.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not about money at all. It's not about money. You know, you shouldn't even put that in the equation. You know, it's about that time. It's about that time.
It's about the time.
Yeah, it's about that time. That's because you need it.
And talking. I mean, a lot of people, you know, when you're in a relationship, you don't talk. Like, one thing I can say, and I'm not saying that me and Mike got the perfect relationship. Trust me, we work on us every single day. But one thing I can say that we have really opened up the lines of the communication with each other. So anything that's going on in our minds, we talk about it. We don't let anything fester. So that's what makes our relationship great, because we don't go around harboring anything that we may feel that's not right in the relationship. We talk about it, you know. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't do in their relationship. They don't talk about anything. And it don't even have to be a negative talk. It could just be like, what's been going on with you? I mean, you may work opposite shifts. Like, my husband we're working night shift and I work day shift. So we might only have like 20 to 30 minutes in passing that we talk. And I'm talking to him on his way to work on the phone, or he's talking to me in the morning when he getting off on the phone. And that might be the only time we actually get to talk, because we don't see each other if he's got to work night and I'm working during the day, you know. So you got to talk. You got to still stay connected, even if you're not seeing each other. You still got to say, I love you, you know, or send little happy texts, or send little sexy texts to each other, or whatever. That's still a form of affection. Even if you're not actually touching each other, it's still a form of affection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're good at that though. Sending the little funny texts, emojis,
and
stuff.
little emojis.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
that is cool.
The little kissy faces or whatever. I mean, they got all the little moving little 6-second videos and stuff, you know. They got all that, what they call it, gifs, whatever they call those things. I mean, there's so many ways that you can put a smile on your significant other's face without actually touching them. You don't have to be in their presence to make them feel love.
Exactly.
They can feel affection through the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's about just about that. It's about your actions.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always about, like we were saying, it's not always about money, guys. The little small things we did, you know, we're telling you that we've done, you know, it's just a little tip for tat, you know, just to let you know what works for us, you know. So, you know, maybe we're giving you some ideas, and that's what we try to do. Give you a few ideas, a few tips on, you know, how to get through that barrier, because guys, that is, number one dysfunction, up there with the number one dysfunction in relationships.
Yeah.
You know, it really is, because people lose, you know, well, they don't do it on purpose. Okay. Mm-hmm. But it has a tendency to think that people lose that intimacy, that affection, you know, that emotions, you know, and all that, you know, comes together.
Yeah.
So
I got one more point too I want to make though before we go. I know we run into 18 minutes. We try to keep the show a little short because we know some of y'all might be actually listening to the show on your lunch break. But if hurt is the thing that is keeping you from going forward in your relationship and showing emotions, then that's one thing that can keep somebody from being affectionate. If you've been hurt before, hurt can keep someone from being totally engulfed in the relationship, because they're protecting their heart. They're protecting their heart from being hurt. So therefore they're not giving their all in the relationship. They're giving just enough that if it don't work out, they feel like they'll be fine. So they don't give their all. So they're not being as affectionate as they could be, or they're not being as loving as they could be. And I understand that wholeheartedly, because, you know, like I said, when me and Mike first got back together again, in the relationship that I had went through, you know, during the time that we weren't communicating, I was hurt. And so when I came back in, not only had I not been in a relationship, in a loving relationship like I wanted to be for so long, like since 2013, all the way up through 2016, it was like, that was like 3 whole years that I was just not feeling the love that I should have felt as a woman from a man. So it was kind of hard for me, you know, to put my guard down at first and let Mike in. So I understand if that's the problem, because you don't want to be hurt. So you know, you're trying to put your guard up, and that goes for men and women. You know, it's not just a woman thing, and it's not just a guy thing. We both go through those times where somebody has hurt us probably, and we put our guards up and we don't want to let someone in. We don't want to show them that love and affection because we're scared that they won't reciprocate it, or we scared that if we do put ourselves all the way out there, then we feel like if it don't work out, then we've been made a fool of. So if you really, really and truly feel like that, and that's the reason why you're not going forward in your relationship, or you're not being as affectionate as you can, that's the main thing that you need to start communicating about. You need to communicate that that's it. It's not you. It's just that I'm guarded right now. And then you can work on building the trust and building a relationship where you can get to that point. Because when you're like that, it's going to take patience. It's going to take a lot of patience to break those walls down. And that's where trust and honesty and trying to work on those issues a little bit at a time through communications, that'll help, because that's what helped me. And I mean, I'm just being honest. That's what helped me, being in communication with Mike and letting him know, it was sometimes it was cries. Sometimes, I was very hurt. So I had to let that go, but it wasn't going to happen overnight because the pain didn't happen overnight. So sometimes you just have to take those baby steps in learning how to release their pain. And then hopefully you got a mate with you that won't judge you and that will be supportive while you going through the grieving period that you need to go through in order to give them the love that they need.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, just a little food for thought to back that up, guys. The emotions, we know sometimes life happens, but leave the doors of communication open, compromise, and try to, cater to each other's needs. And that little barrier right there, it won't even be a big deal. It'll come. You guys can plan for it and make each other's, feel like they're wanted, like you say, and appreciative.
Mm-hmm. All right, babe. So I feel like that was a good show.
Yeah. Good topic. Good topic.
So, guys, if you want to hit us up, if you got any suggestions or comments that you would like to make about the show today, make sure you email us at lunchtalkshow@gmail.com. Do you got anything else that you'd like to add before I run the credits, babe?
Oh, no, that's about it.
All right. So guess what, guys? Y'all can check us out on Radio Public. Look, trying to put a little spin on it. Check us out on Radio Public, because anytime you listen to us on Radio Public, you are financially supporting the show. So we always appreciate it, guys, when y'all listen to us on Radio Public. It is a free app that you can download on iTunes and on Google Play. And guess what? I don't know, did I tell you that they can actually leave us a tip? We got a tip jar on Radio Public.
Oh, right. Okay.
So y'all can leave us a tip, actually. So if y'all feel like we done blessed y'all's life with whatever topic we was talking about, leave us a tip.
Leave us a tip. Best say it with a little green.
I know, right? So we appreciate it. Also, you can listen to us on Spotify, on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Overcast, and a whole bunch of others. YouTube, you can listen to the audio version. We always appreciate you guys. We look at the numbers, so we know you're listening, but we would love to hear from you guys. So hit us up, lunchtalkshow@gmail.com, or you can always go on our social media at Lunch Talk Show and be looking for us on our social media page. Like I said, me and my husband, we are going to Charlotte. We're going to spend the weekend in Charlotte coming up. That's the 26th through the 28th, because we are going to the Carolina Panthers game, because my boys, the Baltimore Ravens, is going to be playing against Carolina Panthers. So be looking for us to be taking some pictures, because we're going to be wearing the t-shirt I was telling you guys about, the What God Joined Together. So we're going to be taking some pictures and stuff while we're up there in Charlotte with those t-shirts on. And we got them in several different colors. You can actually buy the t-shirts on Amazon. So just be looking for those so you can see the actual t-shirts. We're going to be wearing them. And you can also get them in long sleeves. So we'll have some more information about that. Just be looking at our Facebook page, Instagram, and on Twitter at Lunch Talk Show. And you'll get to see our pictures, because we're going to be taking some and posting all over the weekend. Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate it as always, guys. And we'll be back on this coming Friday. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but whatever it is going to be juicy. So make sure that you stay tuned as always.
All right.
Peace.